In the NBA, every franchise measures itself in banners, but the Boston Celtics built an identity around them. Based in Boston and playing at TD Garden, the Celtics are one of the league's original teams, founded in 1946. Over decades, they became more than a successful basketball club. They became a symbol of continuity, rivalry, reinvention, and championship expectation. With 18 NBA titles and the most recorded wins of any NBA franchise, the Celtics are commonly regarded as the most successful team in league history. But that status did not come from one great season or one superstar. It came from multiple eras, each with its own defining figures, setbacks, and comebacks. The Celtics entered the Basketball Association of America in 1946, before the modern NBA took shape. Their name was not random. Boston had a large Irish population, and the Celtics name connected the team to that heritage while also nodding to the original Celtics, a famous barnstorming team from the early 20th century. The mascot, Lucky the Leprechaun, came from the same cultural image. From the beginning, the franchise was tied to a city identity, green uniforms, Irish symbolism, and a fan base that would eventually expect winning as part of the brand. Yet in the early years, Boston was not immediately dominant. The foundation had to be built. The transformation began with Red Auerbach, the coach and executive whose decisions shaped one of basketball's greatest dynasties. Auerbach understood that winning titles required more than scoring talent. It required defense, rebounding, chemistry, and an unselfish system. In 1956, the Celtics acquired Bill Russell, a defensive force whose impact changed the sport. Russell did not dominate by chasing points. He controlled games by blocking shots, protecting the rim, rebounding, and starting fast breaks. Around him were stars like Bob Cousy and Tom Heinsohn, giving Boston a balance of creativity, toughness, and intelligence. In 1957, the Celtics won their first NBA championship, and the league was about to learn what sustained dominance looked like. From 1959 through 1966, the Celtics won 8 consecutive NBA championships, a streak that remains one of the most overwhelming displays of team dominance in major American sports. Russell was the centerpiece, but the dynasty was not a one-man story. Future Hall of Famers like John Havlicek, Sam Jones, K.C.E. Jones, Tom Heinsohn, Bill Sharman, Satch Sanders, and Don Nelson helped Boston maintain a standard that opponents could rarely match. Their style was relentless: defend hard, move the ball, run in transition, and trust the system. The Celtics were not simply collecting talent. They were building a culture where players understood roles and sacrificed personal numbers for team results. Bill Russell's legacy grew even larger when he became player coach, making him the first African-American head coach in any major United States professional sport. This was a historic milestone in a period when American society was still deeply divided by race. Russell led while still playing, carrying both competitive and cultural weight. Under his leadership, the Celtics won back-to-back championships in 1968 and 1969. Those titles were especially meaningful because they proved the dynasty could survive pressure, age, and transition. When Russell retired in 1969, Boston lost not only a superstar but the spiritual center of its greatest run. A rebuilding period followed, but the standard had already been set. The Celtics did not stay down for long. In the mid-1970s, they became contenders again under head coach Tom Heinsohn, who had once been part of the Russell-era teams. This next version of Boston was led by Dave Cowens, John Havlicek, and Joe White. Cowens brought energy, rebounding, and physicality. Havlicek provided experience and all-around excellence. White gave the team poise in the backcourt. The Celtics won championships in 1974 and 1976, proving the franchise could bridge generations. These titles mattered because they showed Boston's success was not just a leftover from Russell's era. The organization could rebuild a champion with new stars and a new style. In the 1980s, the Celtics returned to the center of the basketball world behind another legendary core, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish. Known as the Big Three, they gave Boston size, skill, shooting, passing, and front-court dominance. Bird became the face of the franchise, combining elite scoring with court vision and competitive arrogance. McHale was one of the most skilled low-post players ever, and Parrish added durability and quiet consistency. Together, they won championships in 1981, 1984, and 1986. The 1986 team in particular is remembered as one of the greatest in NBA history, a group that seemed to understand spacing, timing, and execution before those terms became modern basketball vocabulary. The 1980s also intensified the rivalry that defines Celtics history, Boston versus the Los Angeles Lakers. The teams had already met repeatedly in the 1960s, when Russell's Celtics often blocked the Lakers from championships. But in the 1980s, the rivalry became a national spectacle. Boston represented half-court execution, physical front-court play, and Eastern grit. The Lakers, led by their Showtime style, represented speed, glamour, and West Coast flair. Their finals meetings were not just games. They were cultural events that helped grow the NBA's popularity. Across history, the Celtics and Lakers have met 12 times in the NBA Finals, with Boston winning 9 of those matchups. After the glory of the 1980s, the Celtics entered one of the most painful stretches in franchise history. Larry Bird and Kevin McHale retired, Robert Parrish eventually left, and the team's future was hit by tragedy. Len Bias, selected in the 1986 draft and expected to become a major star, died before ever playing an NBA game. Years later, Reggie Lewis, a rising Celtics star, also died unexpectedly. These losses were not just roster setbacks. They changed the emotional direction of the franchise. Through the 1990s and much of the early 2000s, Boston struggled to regain relevance. For a franchise built on banners, the drought felt especially heavy. The next great Celtics revival came in 2007, when the team built a new Big Three around longtime captain Paul Pierce. Boston acquired Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, instantly turning a struggling roster into a championship contender. Pierce supplied scoring and loyalty, Allen brought elite shooting, and Garnett transformed the defense with intensity and leadership. Under head coach Doc Rivers, the Celtics embraced a tough, defense-first identity. In 2008, they defeated the Lakers to win the franchise's 17th championship. It was a modern echo of older Celtics values: sacrifice, defense, veterans accepting roles, and a collective hunger to restore Boston's place at the top. Even that championship core eventually aged out. By the start of the 2013-14 season, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce were gone. But the Celtics turned the ending of one era into the beginning of another. Garnett and Pierce were traded to the Brooklyn Nets in a deal that brought Boston multiple future first-round picks. Two of the most important results were Jaylen Brown, drafted in 2016, and Jason Tatum, drafted in 2017. Together, they became known as the Jays. Their rise was not instant perfection. They faced playoff heartbreak, criticism, coaching changes, and questions about whether two wing stars could lead the same team to a title. The Jays era reached its first finals in 2022, when Boston returned to the championship stage but lost to the Golden State Warriors. That defeat became part of the team's education. The Celtics had the talent to contend, but title teams usually need painful lessons before breaking through. In 2024, Boston defeated the Dallas Mavericks to win its 18th championship, moving back ahead in the all-time title race. The victory connected the modern roster to every previous era: Russell's dynasty, Havlicek's bridge years, Bird's Big Three, and the Pierce-Garnett-Allen revival. It showed that the Celtics' greatest asset may not be any single player, but the franchise's ability to regenerate championship windows. Today, the Celtics' place in basketball history is built from both numbers and mythology. 41 Basketball Hall of Fame members have played for the franchise at least once. Celtics players have won a record 10 NBA Most Valuable Player awards, with Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, Dave Cowens, and Larry Bird among the winners. In 2025, the team was sold to private equity investor William Chisholm for $6.1 billion, briefly marking the highest-valued sports franchise transaction in North America before a later Lakers valuation surpassed it. That sale reflected what the Celtics had become, not just a team, but a global sports institution. Their story is one of banners, rivalry, tragedy, recovery, and an expectation that history is never finished. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.